the SEC on ESPN, and a true opportunity in front of the Auburn Tigers here on this Saturday afternoon. Number 15, Arkansas is down with unblemished conference record. Welcome courtside. Tom Hart alongside Dane Bradshaw. Drama for Stephen Pearl continues through 2 SEC games, including an overtime loss on the road at Georgia. How do you put that behind you and move ahead?
Yeah, his locker room leadership is really going to have to be on full display. He told his guys early, he said, look, we've got to put that behind us. Nobody in this league is feeling sorry for us.
Well, it doesn't get any easier because John Calipari comes to town with one of the best freshmen in the country. This is Darius Acuff Jr.
This guy's the best player on the court. You know it, the opponent knows it, and more importantly, he knows it. He makes everybody else on the floor better with his passing and his scoring. He makes plays that others simply can't.
It is the 78th consecutive sellout here inside Neville Arena. Arkansas and Auburn in a series that dates to 1967. Hogs lead the series 38-23, but they've lost a couple. And Auburn has the advantage here on this home court. Trevin Brazil will jump center against Keyshawn Murphy. And the Razorbacks, who come in at 12-3, control the tip. This is Acuff. Arkansas won at Ole Miss 94-87 on a great shooting night in the Razorbacks midweek win. Nick Pringle to Acuff. Here's a look at the starters for the Auburn Tigers. Tahad Pettiford has the ball in his hands. For the first time in SEC play this year, he is back in the starting line. Hill mid-range push shot, no good from Keyshawn Murphy. And the Razorbacks have gone with a steady starting 5 all season. They get 35 points from the bench. Another talented freshman coming from there. A block by Keyshawn Hall. First year in the Auburn program for Hall. He's been a revelation, giving them 21 a game.
This will be patience by Auburn. If they don't have anything early, they want to take some clock, slow this game down, given how athletic Arkansas is.
42% from 3, and the first shot splashed down. He's third in the league in scoring.
He is a big-time scorer and shows you he can do it multiple places on the court. And for Auburn right now, each of them are going to have shots to guard Acuff. Expect the Tigers to do a lot of switching in this game.
Kevin Overton starts on him. Acuff pull-up 3. Off the side of the rim, tracked down by Murphy. And a push ahead, here's Overton. As you mentioned it a moment ago, Auburn will look for the opportunities to get into its transition offense. But if not, they try to be patient. Will scoop falls off short. There's Acuff Jr. coming off of a 26-point performance in the win in Oxford. DJ Wagner launches a 3, and that one found a home.
He's shooting the ball with a ton of confidence right now from 3, as are most of the Razorbacks. That was not a strength for them a year ago, but with Acuff in the backcourt, taking some pressure off of others, getting higher quality shots, you're seeing the confidence grow.
11th in the country from behind the arc. Here's Overton to Pettiford. Shot clock of 5. Overton forces up a fadeaway 2. And the rebound around by Overton off of the carry. Quick 3 for Keyshawn Hall. He's got a couple of them. And Auburn's got the lead. Out to Brazil. That finds its home.
It all starts with a paint touch. If you're going to defend Arkansas's 3, you have to stop the penetration so they don't get those paint touch kick-out triples.
Pettiford guarded by DJ Wagner.
And this is where Pettiford has to be patient. Take good shots. Don't take bad ones that you can get anytime.
Hall is playing with confidence.
That's a perfect example of Auburn taking their time in the half-court sets if they don't have anything early.
Acuff with the mismatch. And out of bounds, turned over to Auburn.
Well, Well, I think Stephen Pearl has to be pleased with the intensity on the defensive end. Come help the helper. There's Hall. You must do a good job defending without fouling in this game against Arkansas. Does a great job getting to the rim. And then just drive, draw, dish. Hall feeling it early right now.
Hall tried to cross over, kicked it, and a loose ball covered by Arkansas. Great effort by DJ Wagner. Acuff fires a three. Arkansas is an elite offensive team in transition, but came up short on that one. Now Pettiford beat Acuff to the rack.
Really nice vision there by Pettiford. He realized that paint was wide open. If he could get a step on his man, he was going to have an easy two.
Knox got cut off the side of the backboard. Couple empty possessions for the Hogs. Williams Adams into the corner. Not a great pass, but it ends up with Hall. And Keyshawn Hall short. Would have been his third three of the first 5 minutes. Wagner, no good. And Brazil fouled on his way up. It'll be the first on Keyshawn Hall, who leads Auburn with 6. Both of them behind the arc. Back to the jungle in a moment. Auburn with an early lead on Arkansas, 10-8 here at Neville Arena, and the major reason is the confidence from Keyshawn Hall.
Yeah, if Auburn's 2-0 in those close games, we're talking about Keyshawn Hall being a potential SEC Player of the Year, and he is an all-league player. And you're seeing right now his effort on the defensive end that Auburn must get better at. But you see him as a shooter, as a distributor, catch and stick, and you see all of this. And he also leads the country in getting to the free throw line and converting as well. This guy is an absolute terrific player that is the key to Auburn's offense.
5 minutes in. Hogs trail by 2. Brazil, no good. Now rebound brought down by Jovic. Here's Pettiford into the paint. Little floater. It's home. Pettiford's got 4. Acuff with the dump off. Perfect timing, Roxy Bernstein. Elijah Freeman with the breakaway jam. And Auburn has opened up a 6-point advantage on number 15 Arkansas here at the Jungle. It's an 8-0 run for the Auburn Tigers. We'll tell you all about it after this commercial break. And we welcome those of you who watched Arizona stay undefeated with a 13-point win on the road at TCU. Tom Hart alongside Dane Bradshaw and our sensational crew here on the Plains, where Auburn is looking for its first conference win of the season, and Arkansas is trying to stay undefeated in SEC play. Auburn showing zone for the first time, and Darius Acuff Jr., one of the best freshmen in college basketball, makes him pay.
Really nice play by Arkansas to get the ball inside first, kick it out. Auburn has this lead right now because of their defense and their patience on the offensive end. Their shot selection and opportunistic transition buckets have created a really good start.
Keyshawn Hall has a couple of threes early on for Auburn, and now Freeman with the drive. You saw him a second ago get the breakaway dunk, and now he'll go to the free throw line. So a challenging time for Stephen Pearl and his Auburn Tigers. They had the game-winning bucket waved off Tuesday night against A&M. They've got an overtime loss to Georgia under their belt. How does he get this team in the right frame of mind to find a win?
I think we're seeing them execute it right now. He told his team in the locker room today, he said, look, the past is in the past. We got to focus on the present. Nobody in this league is feeling sorry for us, especially the Arkansas Razorbacks. And you got to love the way they have executed the game plan early on.
Elijah Freeman shooting 75% from the line on the season. There's a look at our game summary. Keyshawn Hall with a couple of threes to pace Auburn early. And now Freeman, who's given Auburn 16 points a game over the last three, knocks them both down. He's got 4 in a hurry.
And 3 of the most dangerous scores for Auburn are all in a pretty good rhythm right now, with Pettiford seeing a clean rim early, Hall and Freeman.
Darius Acup Jr. gives it up. He's almost as good an assist man as he is a scorer. And a quick release on the 3, and the freshman buries that one, his second triple of this first half.
He's catch and stick, ready to shoot, and usually it's Thomas being the beneficiary of an A-cup pass on that, but that time the terrific 6-man freshman Thomas returns a favor.
Williams drives, trying to save it, and instead traveled with it. So Williams-Adams with the turnover. That is just the second of the game for Auburn. Where's Arkansas at its best in a half-court offense?
I think it's really when they can get downhill, get at the rim, and then get a spray out for a 3. When they just pass the ball side to side, they get a little bit stagnant. But if you're Auburn, the number one thing you must take away is transition. If you can't take away transition with Arkansas, you don't have a chance to win this game. So far, so good for Auburn.
John Calipari on the court, 11 wins away from 900, 5-time Coach of the Year, and a national champion and Hall of Famer. An empty possession again for Arkansas. And Auburn will set up the offense. The SEC is the highest scoring league in college basketball. Auburn scores 87 points a game. That is middle of the pack in the Southeastern Conference.
They do not want to get in a shootout with Arkansas. We said it to start the game. They've got to take late clock shots if they don't get anything early. Limit possession.
And one coming. Filip Jovic, a freshman from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
He's such a glue guy for this team. Banged his knee up a little bit in that A&M game. Wasn't sure if he was going to be ready, but an absolute warrior that does so many things for this team. That extra possession there, the and-one, and his defensive intensity, rim protection, really brings them something off the bench.
Foul was charged to Malik Ewan, and Jovic to the free throw line. He's just 59% from the line, but that first conference game of the season on the road in Athens, Georgia, he had his first career double-double.
Well, this is an Arkansas team that gave up 60% from the field in the second half against Ole Miss. Despite winning that game, they know they got to get things corrected. So far, Auburn shooting 58% already.
Thomas kicks it into the corner, and Billy Richmond, the third, coming off of a solid game, can't knock it down. Auburn red hot on this end. Tigers have made 6 of their last 8. Meanwhile, Arkansas is trying to refine the offensive rhythm. They gave them an early lead in this game. Stephen Pearl has already gone deep to his bench. Blake Mishalik is in the game. They tried to lob. It was nearly stolen by Auburn. Was turned over. And so Stephen Pearl, first-year head coach here on the Plains, taking over for his dad, who went to 2 Final Fours, as a 5-point lead as Auburn looks for a win against a ranked opponent today.
The best player on the court. You know it, the opponent knows it, but I think more importantly, he knows it. He plays with a confidence and a swagger, and we're seeing him already in this game, but late game, he wants the ball, has made some clutch shots for this Arkansas team, not afraid of the moment, and clearly the leader for this Razorback team.
Blake Mishalik guarded by the future lottery pick. Acuff as high as top 5 in some mock drafts for the upcoming summer. Mishalik gets around and looks for Murphy. Now is skipped with 5 to shoot. Here's Hall downhill. Hall hangs and hits, and he's going to the line. And Keyshawn Hall, first year in his Auburn program, is not only coming off of a 32-point performance, but this guy can take his game to the next level.
And if you're the opponent, you say, we're going to double team the backup point guard that doesn't get many minutes. But Mishalik does a great job splitting the trap, making that pass, and then one of the best, if not the best in the country, and getting and-ones. Hall is outstanding.
Nation's best, 109 free throws made, making a $110 for Hall. He's got 9 of Auburn's 22. We watched film with the Auburn team before shoot-around today. Stephen Pearl's first message is, we've got to hit first. Sometimes they get off to sluggish starts, but they will go on a run, so we've got to come out focused and able to deliver. They've done that in the first 9 minutes.
You nailed it. It's been multiple guys. You see the energy Auburn's had. And their defense is allowing their offense to get in rhythm. And we talked about the importance of possessions in this game and not getting in a track meet. Auburn wants to score early if they can. If not, take it deep in the shot clock. I think they've been really disciplined on that end. But here's public enemy number one. Can you guard this guy?
Acuff left the drive short. Elijah Freeman gives it up. Contested three for Hall. He is feeling it.
This guy is averaging 26 and 9 in his first 2 SEC games. A bona fide star in this league.
He's got 8 20-point games and 6 double-doubles coming off of a 30-10. And he whips it ahead to Overton, who wins the race to the window. All Auburn early. It's a 9-0 Tigers run and a 13-point lead. Corner three for the Hogs finds its home as Malik Thomas makes his first bucket.
You cannot relax on him. He comes in off the bench and is looking to shoot right away, and he is going to get his.
Here's Hall. Freeman finds him on the block. He's got a mismatch with the 6'3" Acuff on him. Went right by him.
Tom, what he tells us earlier today, he goes, when somebody matches up on me, I don't even care who's guarding me. I'm just looking at the help defender and reacting on that. I know I'm going to get by my man. Wow, what a talent.
And that he did. Hall's got 14 in the first 10 and a half minutes. Another corner three for Arkansas. That one was rushed by Malik Thomas, and then a foul on the rebound. We may have a double foul, matter of fact. Take a look at that. Let's take a look at Keyshawn Hall.
Well, he has been feeling it. Known for his penetration and finish at the rim, but he is red hot from three in this one. And then here you see him. He loves his matchup. He's so crafty around the rim. And we'll see the double foul here. And if I'm Auburn, I say, hey, look, I've got inside position there. My guy got pulled down a little bit. We'll see what they tell us.
Don Daly runs his crew, Steven Anderson and Anthony Jordan.
They're going to look to make sure there's not a hook and hold on this play. Yeah, that's a pretty good hook there by Arkansas. And when you grasp and clamp like that, that's usually the one that's going to get you potentially upgraded there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they might change this.
That was Nick Pringle for Arkansas, who had Keyshawn Murphy locked up. It's a 12-point Auburn lead thanks to a 13-3 run. And Stephen Pearl's message to his team in the meeting room before shoot-around today has been well received and well executed. There's the hook and hold. We'll see if Don Daly and his crew see the same thing that we do on replay. And the hook was obvious, the hold even more so because that's what allowed him to take down.
Yeah, the clamp is where it's dangerous, where we saw Purdue's Isaac Haas get injured with a shoulder in the postseason years ago, and that's what initiated this rule to be a potential flagrant foul to try to eliminate it from the game. If you clamp a little bit and let go, maybe you can get away with it, but he held on to it for a while.
How about these Purdue players getting rules changes? Isaac Haas with the hook and hold. It was Chris Kramer with the cylinder years ago. Got his nose readjusted. There's what the rule book reads, flagrant 1 or 2. And so we'll get an explanation from Don Daly in a moment. That it will also wipe off the foul on Keyshawn Murphy, I presume. Common foul wiped away from Keyshawn Murphy, and 56% free throw shooters on the line while Nick Pringle is on the bench.
And Pringle's a very physical player for Arkansas, but he's also foul prone. He gets emotional, and I think that is contributed to the way Murphy fought for that rebound. If you can fight and punch back against Pringle, you got a chance to really frustrate him.
I think it's probably a frustrating start for an Arkansas team that had its way on the road at Ole Miss in the midweek. They shot 52% from the floor, 42% from three, and had 5 in double figures. En route to starting 2-0 in the league, trying to tie the program record for the best start in SEC play. Last time they went 3-0 was the 97-98 year.
This is an Auburn defense that's given up some big-time spurts. There was an 11-0 run in 28 seconds against A&M last game.
Richmond with the steal and the open floor foul charge to Tahad Pettiford. Is it just me, or have we seen more streaks of 10 or more in college basketball this year than ever before?
Yeah, the Evan Maya kill shots, as they call them, on the analytics side. And it's an Arkansas team that averages 1 a game, so they have that spurtability factor. Auburn has to be the same team with a lead as they are when they're down. They play with great desperation and urgency. Stick with what got you here.
Brazil, nobody stops him on the baseline drive, and he get a little fancy with it. He's got 5.
And that's where Stephen Pearl's so frustrated, because you turn it over on one end, empty possession, and then you just don't rotate over on the baseline. That should be an easy rotation.
Pettiford guarded by the veteran DJ Wagner. Back to Pettiford, thought about pulling from the logo. 30% three-point shooter, 7 to shoot for the Tigers. Overton will. Skips off the rim into the hands of Malik Ewing. Arkansas 41% from the floor to start this game, and that number will drop. Meanwhile, the Tigers have made 5 of 6.
You see Stephen Pearl imploring his team to slow it down.
Here's Thomas with the steal and the jam. Malik Thomas combines with Acuff for the top scoring freshman backcourt in the country. And the freshman from Pittsburgh's got 5 of 21. Arkansas loves to run 3rd in the country in fast break points.
If you're Auburn, you're going to try to slow it down times in the half court. You got to be able to pass and cut without turning the ball over.
Pettiford pull up 3 with 2 in his face. Offensive board. It's spun back in. A little masse from Williams-Adams.
That just feels like a really big play. Auburn was struggling against this Arkansas run. That's a big offensive rebound.
Ewan gets tied up and is able to draw the foul. No, Arkansas wants to get out and run. It helps when they are able to rip it and run. This is how this last one ended for the Hawks.
Yeah, Thomas loves to jump passing lanes, and with that wingspan, he knows how to finish. Just a freshman, feeling it on the road.
Well, John Calipari has another talented freshman duo. In fact, multiple freshmen averaging 15 points per game plus in the SEC. There's only been 4 instances, including Acuff Jr. and Thomas. The other 3 coming at Kentucky. You remember DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. They were pretty good.
Yeah, and John Calipari has always said, I will take talent over experience every day of the week, and you see it right there. But what makes this freshman class so much more remarkable, in my opinion, is they're going up against the oldest college basketball has ever been. You got graduate seniors, you got transfers, these guys are going up against 23, 24, sometimes 25-year-old guys. But Malik Thomas in particular, he was born for this. I asked him, I said, hey, growing up with 1 of 9 kids, how was that developing your game? He said, man, my older brother, Shondale, he would make it so hard on me. He would throw the ball over the hill when we were playing on one-on-one when he needed a break, and make me go get it so he could catch a break, get his breath. I'd come back crying. I'd throw the ball in his chest and check up. But I had to learn how to play fatigued, frustrated, and work on my game against older players. You see it paying off. Good job, older bro.
Malik Ewing with the block on that last possession for Arkansas. Hawks trailing 1 point by 14. Second consecutive game, Auburn has had a 14-point lead. From behind the arc. Fell out. Flincheld right out of there. And back to the Tigers.
Pettiford got fortunate there as Thomas was wide open in the corner. You got to be able to stunt and get back on these shooters, not fly at the penetrator.
Pettiford trying to shake Thomas, true freshman out of Pittsburgh, PA. Spent his time in overtime elite. Coming to Arkansas, Murphy challenge. And here comes Razorbacks have turned it up defensively. Brazil for three. And the rebound in the hands of Pettiford. Arkansas 5 for 14 from deep. Sent through spin. It goes home for Kevin Overton.
And Brazil's been shooting it really well this season, but he is streaky, so he's missed a couple good open looks. He is so critical to the spacing for Arkansas right now, but if he's not hitting his threes, they do become a little bit different team offensively.
6 to play in the half. Thomas cut off, trying to feed inside, and was stolen away by Keyshawn Murphy.
And they are really crowding that lane once they get inside the arc.
Pettiford off balance. Ewan's got the board. And now Wagner, thought he had the baseline, instead he peels back out. Ewan decides to shoot, and why not? Malik Ewan makes his second three of the season.
Looks at the defense, hand down, man down, respect my three.
It's only his second attempt.
Better forget the scouting report, that wasn't in the film.
Adams on Brazil. Using his size, and Brazil not happy. He picked up the foul.
Auburn really feels like they can attack Arkansas's big. They've got some muscle down low, does Arkansas, and they got rim protection. But if you go into their chest, they don't take that first bump extremely well. Auburn making a point to go at them. And if you look at the points in the paint, Auburn 20-6 right now as a result of that concept.
Here's Sebastian Williams-Adams. A couple of years at Morehead State. He's been in the starting lineup now for 6 consecutive games. And one more coming. 2 more college basketball games highlight our schedule tonight. Philon and number 13 Alabama play host to Dayton Swain at Texas at 8 Eastern. Then we cap the night with number 9 BYU and Utah in the Holy War. Texas 0-2 in the league. And Sean Miller benched 3 starters second half their last loss. He promised significant lineup changes going forward. See if he's able to follow through with it. 0 for 2 from the line for Williams-Adams. And Wagner with the crossover ends up drawing the foul.
And they need more of that. Arkansas has taken 22 shots. 15 of them have been from 3, and they've only gotten to the line 1 time prior to this. So they've got to make it a point to penetrate, get in that paint, and don't take the bait from 3.
So it puts DJ Wagner at the free throw line. He has been sizzling from behind the arc, now 9 for his last 17. It's only the 4th free throw attempt of the game for Arkansas. 1 for 3.
And really, such a key to their offense. They're top 5 in the country. Over 20 points per game in transition. Just 2 so far that Malik Thomas dunked.
Loose ball, and Hall nearly lost it at midcourt. And then Wagner in his hustle to try and turn him over picks up the personal foul.
You see Billy Richmond come slamming into the stanchion next to us. All heart and hustle by 24. He might not be the biggest offensive star for Arkansas, but if there's a heart and soul of this team, it's that guy right there.
They didn't miss a shot in their last game. Into the corner, good ball movement. Overton had Hall on the far side, couldn't get it to him. Started by Brazil, and now 6 on the shot clock. Open for 3, Williams-Adams. Novich with the rebound. Another chance for Auburn. Here's Overton. Another chance for the Tigers. A pair of offensive rebounds on this possession. No whistle on the drive. There it is, and that will be the second, I believe, on Brazil. Five offensive rebounds for Auburn. Stephen Pearl was telling us before the game that we have to be really tight offensively. We can't afford the turnovers as some of our previous teams could with a rim protector, shot blocking, steals. we don't get those extra possessions on the defensive end. But boy, they are tonight, and they've kept Arkansas, off the offensive glass.
Yeah, they've really felt that if you could make Arkansas cover for more than 15 seconds, you can get something good pretty late. Arkansas's initial half-court defense is pretty good. But if you can keep running action, you can find an opening, and it's going to be really hard for Arkansas to get a stop if you allow the offensive rebounds like they did on that last possession.
Overton makes the second one. He's made 28 of his last 31 from the line. And now the freshman Acuff at his best behind the arc at the top of the key, right about here. And he gets past Overton. And Ewan gets fouled on the putback.
But a really good drive by Acuff. Even though he didn't make it, he got it up off the glass, draws a second defender, and that makes the backside rebound vulnerable for a big guy like Ewan.
And two shots coming from Malik Ewan, who transferred in from Florida State. Led the ACC in field goal percentage last year at 60%.
Ewan was really just a monster in that win against Tennessee, especially in the second half. 4 huge blocks, 10 and 6, all in the second half, as well as that performance against Houston. And to have this type of guy and the talent Arkansas has coming off their bench, it's really like having 8 starters for the Razorbacks.
Gets it into the paint and takes it off the glass. Pretty good for a guy who only played 7 minutes against A&M due to the knee injury.
He's just a good decision maker. I feel like Auburn's really at their best. Maybe not at their best, but they don't drop off when he's on the court coming off the bench.
How can Arkansas get Acuff involved?
Well, Auburn's got to do a lot of switching, so can you get a screen to a matchup you like? He likes the one he has on him now.
And he splashes it down after shaking Jovic.
He is a true 3-level scorer. At the rim, mid-range off the bounce, 4 from 3.
Everybody's searching for John Calipari point guard comps, and he's got a lot of great ones to try and find the comparison, but it is hard to find. Pettiford, a bunch of eyes on him. And the three's good from Elijah Freeman. Auburn up 11. Wagner trying to answer. That's off the mark. Hogs have struggled from deepness, 6 for 16.
That's where Pettiford just keep making the right play.
Hall puts it on the floor. Got by 2 defenders and lays it in. Game high 16. Keyshawn Hall, it's a 13-point lead. John Calipari not happy with the defensive effort. Stephen Pearl has got sensational effort from his 5 tonight. Kevin, if we could only get Seth to share an opinion and be direct about it, then we'll make great strides. But indeed, it's a 13-point lead for Auburn. They're shooting 57% from the floor. Stephen Pearl wanted to deliver the first punch.
Yeah.
They certainly did.
And I think they played well with the lead as well. And a lot of that is making Arkansas be one and done on this end of the court. Just one offensive rebound for Arkansas.
Darius Acuff Jr. has had an up and down first half, and he leaves that one short. Rebounded to Pettiford. Here's Overton pushing. Tigers have found their pace in this one tonight. And blocked by a couple of Hogs. Give Wagner credit for it. It'll go back the other way.
And here's what's been good about Auburn's offense, especially recently. Pettiford. Normally he gets in the lane here, and sometimes he might make a bad decision, 1-foot floater, but that time he gets it ahead. Prior to that play, he had also gotten in there, drawn to, kick the penetration. If he can play smart, play off 2 feet, and run the show, he has not proven yet to be a true leader point guard for this team. But last few possessions have been much more promising.
There's Keyshawn Hall. Jovic inside. That's 7 for Jovic. Everybody contributing for Auburn in this first half.
Boy, Arkansas's got to get to halftime, huh? I mean, they've got to make some adjustments, regroup, and if you're Auburn, you've got to close this thing out. Last minute 30. Keep this huge lead.
Acuff off the mark. Rebounded to Auburn again. Here's Pettiford leading a 3-on-1. Hall! Hammer! 9-0 Auburn run. The lead is 17. Going to get this building alive, and boy, have they. And it looks like the Arkansas team, like Seth was talking about, has been punched right in the face.
Yeah, and because they're able to make Arkansas be one and done, and Auburn finishing the defensive possession, one thing Arkansas has not been great at is transition defense, and Auburn has been very opportunistic in that, especially on the home court. 28 points in the paint, a lot of that due to the 12 fast break points they have.
Arkansas just begging for some momentum going into the half. Only 30 points as of now. Floater no good. And a rebound ripped away by Jovic.
Again, tough twos for Arkansas right now as they try to put their head down, get in the paint, not be so reliant on the 3, but Auburn is really shrinking the court on that end.
Under a minute to play. Open 3 Overton. Brazil the board.
Switching again. They're willing to play 1-on-5 down low with point guard guarding the 5-man.
Loose ball corralled by Brazil. Try to work it inside, and now Ewan takes advantage, and he's going to the line.
He's a really talented scorer, and when he gets the ball down low, he's not passing, and rightfully so. He loves his angle. He can finish right hand, left hand. That time, that all begins with him meeting the pass, not allowing a deflection by Auburn. Getting that left-hand finish.
35.8 left in the half. Here's Ewan. Misses the front end. About a 5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Pettiford has it ripped, regains. .15 to shoot. Freeman gets right past Brazil for the 2-hand jam. This effort for Auburn has been sensational. 8 to play in the half. Acuff watching himself. Now 3 to shoot, all the way in, and fouled, and it'll go to the line. Not seeing much defense on the other end.
Well, it's a blow-by, and then Acuff, the back line of defense, he's worried about Pettiford going towards the corner. So Auburn was clearing out, and Acuff was trailing his man. You got to see man and ball and resist the temptation to run with your man when you have help side responsibility. But right now, the half-court defense, again, this is the Arkansas team that gave up 60% from the field in the second half against the Ole Miss team. They won that game, but right now they have not been able to make those adjustments from second half of Ole Miss to first half here as Auburn shooting 58% and getting anything they want.
For Acuff, 11 points, making 12, but only 1 assist. 2.5 left in the half. Here's Pettiford to midcourt, and he almost felt like that was going to go for this Auburn team where everything else has seemingly gone right. Stephen Pearl said we got to deliver the first punch. They were able to do just that. He joins me now courtside. Stephen, you told your team before the game you had to be able to deliver the first punch. How did you guys manage to do it?
Yeah, I thought our guys we try to break it down into 4-minute games. You got to win each 4-minute game. our guys did a pretty good job early defensively of plugging the gaps and making them settle for jump shots. And then offensively, Keyshawn Hall got us off to a great start.
Keyshawn Hall seems to be the heartbeat of the team. How did you instill confidence in him to do what he does?
I don't have to instill confidence in that kid for anything. That kid's just born with it. So he did a great job knocking some shots down early, gave the rest of our guys some confidence and belief going into this game.
All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
And Stephen Pearl and his Auburn team with a convincing effort in the first half. They're halfway to 100 with a 15-point lead. Malcolm Huckabee, Seth Greenberg. Back at Neville Arena, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. It's the largest halftime deficit for Arkansas this season. To find out why, let's get you the tunnel moments ago. Dave Bradshaw with John Calipari.
Coach, you were concerned about your half-court defense coming into tonight. What do you got to do in the second half to slow Auburn down?
Not get bullied. It's bully ball. 30-5 in the post. We're not a team that shoots all threes. 90% of our shot, they're driving it and we're shooting threes. Come on. So let's see. This will be an interesting second half. I'm excited about it. Let's see what we are.
Got it. Thanks a lot, Coach.
And to John Calipari's point, 30 of Auburn's 49 points have come in the paint, and they are plus 10 on the glass against Arkansas.
And this is an Arkansas team that rose to the occasion on their home court against Tennessee, where that was the message to his team is do not get punked. This is a physical team. And right now, they've got to take that same energy they had against the Vols in the second half here against Auburn. Remember, this is an Auburn team that can give up big runs. They're susceptible to that. Can they continue to play? I can guarantee you this. Having played for Bruce Pearl and been in the locker room with Stephen Pearl, the message is play like we are down 10. That's what they must do right now, even with a big lead.
Now, Keyshawn Hall gives it up. He's been the straw stirring the drink so far tonight for the Auburn Tigers. He has scored or assisted on 53% of the Tigers' points in the first half. With 8 on the shot clock, Overton found a path to the basket. Second pass into Murphy with 4 on the shot clock. It's blocked, and the loose ball corralled by the Razorbacks. How do you get Darius Acuff Jr. involved offensively?
I think he's got to recognize when the switch is coming and what he wants to take advantage of or dump down. Right now, Trevor Brazil posted up on Pettiford, but he floats out to the perimeter. This is about matchups right now for Arkansas.
Wagner finds Pringle on the slip. First bucket for Nick Pringle.
This guy's only taken 4 shots in 4 games, but he is an outstanding athlete, and he can rise above the rim and finish through contact, as you saw there.
He had 18 and 9 against Arkansas last year when he was playing at South Carolina. Murphy fired 3 and answers. Pringle looking for Brazil, and now the touch from Acuff. Mismatch guarded by the 6'5 Overton. Brazil trying to bang inside, left the jump hook short.
And that's not really his game. His game is out on the perimeter. If he has an angle down low, but just trying to back you down Barkley style, that's what Auburn wants.
And then a foul on the post on the other side with Williams Adams getting position. It's Acuff who picks up his first.
You'll see Arkansas get some good action off just a pretty simple ball screen, and Auburn got hit on that screen and got some confusion on if they were switching or not. And I'm not sure that Stephen Pearl loved that quick early shot by Murphy, but it went in. Everything's okay.
And part of that is trying to limit the possessions against this Arkansas team, which loves to get up and down the floor. Only 2 fast break points for the Razorbacks in the first half. Williams Adams, point blank. Said this Auburn team can be streaky. They had a 16-point lead against A&M and gave it up in their last home game. And a reach-in foul by Williams Adams.
And this is the physical drives Auburn wants. They felt like if they can get into their chest, get that first bump, that Arkansas tends to retreat on that. And just by getting Pringle off balance, you get yourself an open 2. They've done it time and time again, to where even though Arkansas has some strength down there, if you can play off 2 feet, lower that shoulder a little bit, good things will happen.
Elijah Freeman enters the game for Williams Adams. Tigers sizzling at 58% from the floor. Arkansas struggling at 38%. Wagner out to Richmond. Takes it himself. In and out. Foul tip from Brazil.
He's a good, active offensive rebounder. He can come flying in from the perimeter for tip dunks or hang around the basket as he did there.
Razorbacks have not been a great defensive team this season. They allow 76 points per game. But Auburn way ahead of that pace. Thanks in large part to this man. Keyshawn Hall now has 21. It's his 7th 20-point game of the season. For the four-time transfer who last year led the Big 12 in scoring at UCF. Brazil with a spin, quick move, and going to the free throw line after Murphy fouled. UNLV, George Mason, UCF, and now Auburn for Keyshawn Hall. His nickname in high school was Big Guard. He was about 6'4", 290. And after being a post player at UNLV, he shed the weight. When he got to Mason, he turned into a driver, an isolation player. He leads the nation in free throws made. And he has turned into not just a scorer, but a creator, as Brazil's got another.
Had a chance to catch up with Hall at shoot-around today, and I said, when did you really become such a physical guy at the rim drawing fouls? He said, man, that was always my game. Because I was heavier, younger, I would just kind of lower my shoulder, get in there, be a physical post-up guy. But now that I'm thinner and go from the perimeter, I still have that. It reminded me of Janai Broom, his great passing skills. He was 5'10" as a freshman, was a point guard. And then when he had that huge growth spurt, he kept those point guard skills.
Murphy off the back of the rim, rebound to Wagner, 17-point Arkansas deficit. Brazil with the pump fake, downhill. Thought he got the whistle, didn't. Ahead to Hall! Keyshawn Hall is having another monster night. After a 32-point performance against A&M, he's got 23 and 4 helpers tonight.
Arkansas's half-court D hasn't been great, but they got to give it a chance. And that starts by getting back. Their transition defense has been really poor.
Brazil shuffled around to get back to his strong side. The Arkansas offense has run through number 7 the last few trips down.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of those switches right there. But if you're Auburn, you say, all right, look, their game's going to be post-up Brazil. You live with that given the number of weapons they have on the perimeter.
I would assume Stephen Pearl is also happy because it helps to slow down the tempo a little bit. Free ball, good. Auburn looks unstoppable on the offensive end. That's Freeman's second three.
And this is starting to feel like the jungle we remember. The home court advantage, the toughest place to play in the SEC when it gets loud.
And the freshman can't hit. Darius Acuff has missed a couple of runners off the backboard tonight. He gives him 19.5 points and better than 6 assists a game. But he's been out of rhythm this evening here at Auburn. Beneford guarded by Brazil. Goes right by him. Gets all the way in. Largest deficit of the season for Arkansas. Previously, they trailed by 21 against Houston. Acuff has his pocket picked. 3-on-1 Auburn. Overton lob. And it's ripped down by Richmond. Numbers the other way for the Razorbacks. Brazil back to Acuff. Mid-range. Got it.
Billy Richmond read that the entire way. He waited and waited for that lob being thrown, but he knew it before it was even happening. 4-point swing for Arkansas.
It's been a couple of times in this game where we've blown right by the media timeouts by a couple of minutes. Might be some tired legs on the floor. Freeman had time to set it up. Hit the side of the backboard. Another offensive rebound. We got a 20-point lead for Auburn in the basketball.
Arkansas comes in, one of the best transition teams in the country, but they're getting a taste of their own medicine right now as Keyshawn Hall trying to make a name for himself as potential SEC Player of the Year. Earlier, when I talked about his ability to get to the free throw line and how his game has grown at Auburn, he said, look, at Auburn, I realize there's going to be guys coming to help and try to double team. I'm really trying to work on my assists. The other thing he said was, I have the freedom of going to our coaching staff mid-game and telling them, hey, I think we can get this kind of play. Can we run this? And they're open to that communication. He said that's something that I really hadn't had in my career. And he just raved about how his game has evolved in his IQ level and ability to pass while he's here at Auburn.
Here's Kevin Overton at the free throw line. I really enjoyed that conversation because it seemed like it's an advanced line of thinking when it comes to attacking the basket and what he does on the offensive side. That comes with being in 4 different programs and having so much time under your belt. Another one for Overton.
Yeah, we touched on it in the first half, but he said, when I get that first defender on me, I'm really not even looking at him. I'm just reading that help side. I know I can get by the guy I'm on.
Must be
what
nice,
great man. I mean, he said it in a very, humble way. But when I was in that position, I was just trying to look for who I could get the ball to get out of my hands.
Here's Darius Acuff Jr. Off night for him, and the rest of this Razorback offense shooting just 39% as a team.
Keep an eye on number 1, too. I mean, this guy can get it going quick as Acuff gets a much-needed and one. But Malik Thomas, 5 points. Been pretty quiet, but he can get it going in a hurry, especially from 3.
So Darius Acuff Jr. to the free throw line. There's never been a freshman in NCAA history to finish their opening year averaging 19.5 points per game and 6 assists per game. And if Acuff can continue this run, he would do just that.
And look, he's got 17, so a good stat line from that perspective, but just 1 assist. What makes him so dangerous is not only a playmaker for himself, but for the rest of the team. Auburn has taken the playmaking away for his teammates.
And as 17 have taken 13 shots to get there. Went for the steal, and it will stay with with Auburn with 12 seconds in the shot clock.
Auburn's going to have to be really strong with the ball because Arkansas knows Auburn is trying to take their time on this end of the court, but they are having heavy ball pressure right here at half court and extending their defense.
5 to shoot for Hall. He takes it all the way down the pipe and lays it in with the right.
Well, a great clear out by Jovic.
The lead is 21. Thomas turns it over. Leak ahead to Freeman. Step through, reverse, and going to the line. Foul called on Pringle. Arkansas's largest comeback this season is a 10-point comeback against Texas Tech back on December 13th. And now Elijah Freeman to the free throw line.
We'll take a look at Jovic. How did Hall get such an open basket? Keep an eye right here. He's going to do a duck in and just clear space and keep Pringle out of the way. And so if Hall can get by his man, we already know he's not concerned about that. And you can take care of the backside, that's easy money. A really popular play. You see Florida doing a lot of it. Tennessee calls them highway screens. Florida calls them duck-ins. I believe Auburn does as well. Nevertheless, it's a 5-man doing a legal post-up, but all he's really doing is trying to clear space.
Ewan throwing his body around. Tried to go over Jovic. Tracked down his miss and leaves the second one short, but got the whistle. And that's the third on the freshman Jovic. Malik Ewan, senior from just outside of Atlanta in Lawrenceville, Georgia, started his career playing at Florida State. Couple coming his way. SEC Network capping off a quadruple header tonight with Otega-Owing, Kentucky, playing host to Josh Hubbard of Mississippi State, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central from Rupp, where the natives were restless when they were there. We were there Wednesday. It is not a whole lot of positives coming out of Lexington right now. by Hall. He's doing it on both ends.
Well, Auburn preached multiple efforts defensively. Can't just be one, it has to be multiple, and they have gotten that from everybody that has stepped on the court. You got to be able to help, you got to be recovered, you got to battle, and keep having multiple efforts.
That's a third on Billy Richmond.
This is something to watch. Auburn not seeing the same type of press that brought Texas A&M back in a flurry in the second half last time they were on this court, but handling the pressure better.
Hall keeps it in his hands. Fade away over Wagner. Thomas, wow, somehow got it right to Brazil.
I mean, that's a good pass, but that's a great catch. Shows you Brazil's athleticism, just catch it anywhere around the rim.
Acuff wasn't happy with that. Get caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Mashalik.
This thing wasn't quite on target as Brazil was calling for it. Thomas trusts his guy to just go get it. It was a little right above the cylinder there, and he just finds a way.
Back a couple of years ago, Auburn went into Bud Walton Arena and knocked off Arkansas 83-51. It was the largest losing margin in Bud Walton history. Mashalik feeling it. He's got 3 points and matches 3 fouls. He has given Pearl incredible minutes off the bench. Off balance shot, no good. Overton with the rebound. 22-point Auburn lead. Jungle wanted Mashalik to throw it up again. This has been a total team effort for Auburn, even if Keyshawn Hall has been in the spotlight for the most part. Brazil, a one-hand board. Wagner. That's to Acuff. By Mashalik. Here's Hall, and he'll peel out to run some clock. Mashalik only has 6 minutes in the last 5 games combined. And that 3 he made just his second of the season.
If they're playing a different team, Hall might have pushed it there, but they want to take their time, keep this tempo in their favor.
They got the shot clock under 9, and they cash in with the 3 for Kevin Overton. Timeout, John Calipari in Arkansas. Auburn leads by 25. Auburn wanted to slow the possession, and you see why. When Arkansas is able to get out and push the tempo, they haven't lost this season. How the Tigers done it tonight?
Yeah, they want to score early if they can in transition. If not, score late in the clock, make Arkansas defend. They felt like that's where they could get better production offensively. More importantly, it helps slow Arkansas down. As you see the stats there, nugget found on the great site, evanmaya.com, showing you that trend. And that's going to be something Arkansas has got to figure out a way of how can we dictate the tempo. The old saying of it's a lot easier to slow a team down than speed them up. And they've got to find a way to play faster.
Meanwhile, we haven't seen Carter Knox on the floor for Arkansas since the 9:28 mark of the first half. He is out the remainder of this game, we're told, with a hip injury. 0 points over 7 minutes for a guy who had 10 points and 6 boards in a win at Ole Miss.
But he's a guy shooting over 40% from 3, much improved three-point shooter this season. So not having him out there does impact the spacing. Instead of having 4 legitimate threats from 3, you only have 3 guys out there if you're Arkansas. Makes it easier for Auburn to shrink the court.
Stephen Pearl is looking for an explanation. Don Daly on the other side. And at the free throw line, it's Malik Ewan.
Well, Ewan was really bumping Williams-Adams down. I think if Williams-Adams sells it a little bit, but that displacement foul, I think, is what Stephen Pearl's probably preaching to the officiating crew right now.
And so the drop line on that last graphic, Arkansas is under a point per possession. On the other side, Auburn is scoring nearly 1.5 points per possession. Anything over 1 is good. 1.5 is next level.
Well, and while the zone doesn't speed Auburn up, maybe it's a way to just get consecutive stops and mix it up if you're Arkansas.
There's Adams, no good. Got the miss off the tip. And Hall and Bedford will reset. Sean Hall, consecutive 25-point games in SEC play. That's a first for Auburn Tigers and Jabari Smith at 22. 3 on the shot clock. Bedford heaves. And rebounded by Ewing. Here's Richmond full head of steam. And Williams Adams had his jersey. No whistle. It stays with Arkansas. We've got a timeout, with Auburn leading 75-52. Is this score surprising or shocking?
I'm very surprised and shocked. How about that for an answer? I thought that this was an opportunity for Auburn to get back on the map. So did their locker room. But, man, they are making more than just a statement right now here at Auburn.
Even Pearl, the last 3 halves of basketball, that A&M game, not only were they up 10 at the half, but up 16 with 13:29 to play. And then they were down 8 with 1:04 to play. And they thought they had won it at the buzzer.
And his message to his team was, guys, it's not the stuff at the end that's costing us games. It's everything in between. And we felt like at halftime, he was telling his team, got to play down 10. Down 10 is the mindset. And they have not played the scoreboard. They have stuck to their plan and did a terrific job playing with the lead in the second half.
Only 6 turnovers in the game for Auburn. And in the second half, 5 of 9 from 3. And the basket interference goaltending on Billy Richmond. And the bucket good for Williams Adams.
This starts with a blow-by, though. Help comes late, but a lot of it is sitting down and guarding. And that's something Auburn had struggled with themselves. They certainly did against Georgia. They were a little bit better in the half court against A&M. And they have been 10 times better here against Arkansas. But that's what the Razorbacks need, taking some pride in their half-court defense. But as they extend pressure, it becomes a little bit harder to keep your man in front.
See how much time Auburn runs off the clock here with Freeman. Guarded by Malik Thomas. Freeman just taking it himself. Well, at least he used clock. Push ahead, here's Billy Richmond. And he's fouled. First bucket of the game for Billy Richmond III, and he'll have a chance of making a 3-point play as Hall commits his second.
Billy Richmond gets most of his points in transition. He gets out and goes, a nice step through there. Terrific athlete, can guard multiple positions. But when he gets his buckets, every now and again he'll make a 3 in the half court, been shooting it better. But that's really where he scores right there.
And pardon me, that was the third of Keyshawn Hall.
Williams Adams can bring it up. He looks like he's about to go out of control, but he's pretty productive pushing it against pressure and in the fast break situation, especially for somebody his size.
Here's Pettiford. Once again, they're running a 4-minute offense relative to the football field. Pettiford did draw a rim, and the pushback is there as Hall gets another bucket.
You can't play more efficient than Hall has. 25 points, 10 of 13.
Give him 5 assists, too. Have a chance. Full of undefeateds got wins today, including Vandy over LSU by 11. Michigan lost for the first time this season. And I don't know if you caught it last night, Dane, but Kurt Cignetti has Indiana playing for a national championship on the football field. What's in the water at JMU? 15-0 for the Hoosiers, and Mark Byington's team is 16-0 now.
They could make some money hosting a coaching clinic.
I think so. I hope Cignetti got that beer he wanted after the game last night. Here's Keyshawn Hall.
You're talking about throwing the first punch. A pick 6 on the first play for Indiana. You're involved in that sport much closer than I am, but legendary turnaround for Indiana. Not sure there's a comp for that one.
No. Coming into the season, the losingest Division I program in college football history. Acuff off the glass. He's got the points, just not the entire package. Meanwhile, on the other side for Auburn, Keyshawn Hall, he's got 28 points. The last Auburn Tiger to have back-to-back 30-point efforts was Wesley Person back in '94. And 34 against Ole Miss, and then 32 against Tennessee in back-to-back games. Hall working from the high post, center ripped away. Pettiford gambled, Thomas got by him, and then drew the foul on Keyshawn Murphy. By the way, that Vanderbilt win today, Tyler Nickel got his first double-double, went for 19 and 10. And LSU 0-3 in the SEC for consecutive seasons for the first time since 98-99. Good by Thomas. We'll cap off wildcard weekend Monday night. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers host C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Our coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Peyton and Eli have the Mannycast on E2. Pre-game coverage begins with SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on ESPN. You, Bruiser Flint, got your Eagles conversation out of the way.
Oh,
yeah. Around this morning.
That was like going to a reunion for you, wasn't it? We were going way back to the McNabb days.
Murphy, jam for Pettiford.
But Pettiford's only got 6 points, but he has 6 assists, 1 turnover, and has played smart basketball. They need a game manager on the court.
Malik Thomas is filling it up now. He's got 10. 5 straight for Arkansas.
And this is an Auburn team, and you see the intensity on Stephen Pearl's face. They've got PTSD from that last game. This 20-point lead does not feel like 20 points to them, so they are not going to rush anything.
Double on the baseline, they get out of there. Here's Pettiford with 6 on the shot clock. And then, to your point, while there have been some empty possessions, and Pettiford left his feet, they have used plenty of clock, and so it's a 20-point lead with 6 to play. And with John Calipari's team under 1 point per possession, put it in Alex Golish terms, we get under 5, Auburn can start kneeling on it. Here's Isaiah Seeley at the free throw line. Alex Golish, a new Auburn head football coach, ran into him last night. He is recruiting his tail off right now with the portal wide open.
Job handling the double team there. Arkansas did 2 guys on the ball. You got to get out of it quick.
Freeman broke off the curl. Now 7 on the shot clock. Too easy.
Yeah, that's way too easy. Murphy just saw, all right, you're not going to bring a double team? Watch the spin move, one-on-one in the post.
Acuff's got a 19.9, but 1 assist and 3 turnovers.
And he just hadn't seen a lot of space, Tom. I mean, he made a couple threes early, but this is where Auburn has really crowded the paint there. Look at those gaps. He's not able to get any free penetration, and they'll live with that.
And a mismatch with a 6'10 Keyshawn Murphy. A lot of frustration. And seemingly miscommunication for Arkansas on the offensive end tonight.
What an unpredictable start to the SEC. You and I have covered Missouri a couple times after they had that big blowout loss to Illinois. A lot of people left them for dead. They got healthy, and all they go do is beat Florida and then Kentucky. And then Auburn 0-2 with a hot Arkansas team that they're now blowing out 20+.
On the other side, elsewhere today, the reigning national champs down in Gainesville have looked out of sorts. They blew out Tennessee. A scuffle at the end.
Got a question for you. When they're talking trash, you think they're still doing Yo Mama jokes?
I hope so.
Saw a good one the other day.
Yeah, what do you got?
Your mama's so fat she browsed the internet all day just to accept the cookies.
I really wish we were going to timeout with that.
Drop on that, right?
That joke will be repeated ad nauseum.
Hey, when you got a 22-point lead, you got to go into the Yo Mama jokes, man. As you know, I'm a big fan of White Men Can't Jump.
Looking for dead ball contact technical, possibly. There was a common foul on the floor. Pettiford kind of got shoved into Ewan, who pinballed him right back towards Thomas.
Yeah. It's a push. It just depends. Certainly not warranted. They may get him for that, but sometimes it's just a little scuffle. I'd prefer it be a play on, but when they take it under review and see it that blatant, they get Ewan on this.
Talk about the undefeateds in college basketball. Nebraska is now 16-0 with a 6-point lead on the road at Assembly Hall against Indiana. Miami of Ohio is 17-0. They were idle today. Arizona went to 16-0 with a 15-point win in Fort Worth against TCU. And Iowa State stays undefeated. Well, they got Oklahoma State. I haven't seen that score. I jumped the gun. Apologies.
Well, it is a wide open SEC right now. I know it seems like we say that every year, and Vanderbilt has certainly become a class of themselves, not just who they're beating, but how they're beating them. We saw the one time they got taken really to the wire against a Memphis team with heavy ball pressure, almost got a huge upset to the Memphis Tigers. But Texas A&M all of a sudden after that miracle win here, 3-0 in the league. Let's see what they come back with here.
A common foul on Malik Thomas and a dead ball contact technical.
I don't know that they called, yeah, it all on Thomas, you're right.
So they got Thomas for one foul, they got him for another.
Well, I don't know that I believe they didn't call it a dead ball technical. It was a live ball foul and then a dead ball foul. And so that's going to result in multiple free throw attempts. Essentially same result. So he gets 2 personal fouls there. Either way, however you chalk it up.
Chalk it up to his 3rd personal foul. And Keyshawn Hall, what a story he is, a senior from Cleveland. He's at Denver Prep, and his weight ballooned to near 290 pounds. Got to UNLV, was strictly used in the post, and decided he needed to make a change, and so he did. Started running 1.5 miles every day, cut out bread, and the weight just started falling off.
See, if you could also do the old fashions, you might be able to have the same success. But what I love about Hall is he came to Auburn as a coveted transfer, but also because he wants to win. I mean, he has not won big, hasn't experienced that postseason opportunity that he wants. And here he is on the Plains trying to be the next star under the Pearl family program.
Give him 31 now.
Bruce Pearl did arrive in the building late after working studio in Atlanta. And came in and ducked out. Maybe he was keeping an eye on his plus-minus stat. Didn't want to screw things up too bad. But yeah, I love the humility Stephen Pearl has taken over the program with. He said, look, if it's not broke, we don't fix it. They're running a lot of the same stuff, same concepts. And he's doing it still with his own voice in the locker room. And shows you his leadership as well. I mean, this is a team that could have come off with an emotional hangover, had excuses, and as you alluded to, he demanded they throw the first punch in this game. He felt like Arkansas was vulnerable to slow starts, and really that's been the difference in the game.
All looking for an assist with a pass inside to Freeman. And a tip for Murphy. Is it fair then to consider this Auburn program the same program that it's been under the previous 12 years under his dad?
Yeah, I mean, of course, experience as a head coach matters. But when you look out here, I don't see much different. I see the same type of concepts. I see the same baseline out of bounds defenses. There's some wrinkles here and there and adjustments that they were already making. And Stephen Pearl essentially going from defensive coordinator to head coach.
And remember, last year's team, which reached the Final Four, was one of the most experienced in the country. They had 10 seniors on that squad.
Yeah.
6,000-point scores going into the season.
And that's what's changed. There's a National Player of the Year, and Janai Brome and Chad Baker-Mazar now at USC.
Play? Yeah, they are. That's how the drive home on 70 or at 85 is going to be. We're going to be trading paint. It's a 90-64 lead for Auburn with 3:18 to play. All right, thanks, gentlemen. Alabama dealing with some injuries. Latrell Wrightsell is out. Aiden Sherrill is a game-time decision. And Sean Miller dealing with some lineup issues. We'll see if he changes that up after he benched 3 starters in the second half of their loss last time out. And a foul charge to Pettiford.
Well, and this is good for this young team for Arkansas. I know you don't want to get blown out and you say, how is this good? But they went on the road, had a very solid win at Ole Miss. But these freshmen haven't experienced anything like this yet. And Malik Thomas is a guy right here who's a star. He said he's embraced coming off the bench. He said, I've never come off the bench in my life, but I'll do anything for the team. I said, does it allow you to kind of see the game and doing all that stuff and get a flow? He goes, yeah, but mostly I'm just chomping at the bit, waiting for coach to call my name so I can go get a bucket.
Well, John Calipari has done a remarkable job of balancing bench players with starter minutes. Here's Hall with the run out and lost the grip on it. And you go back to the platoon system he had with Booker coming off the bench at Kentucky, a guy like Reed Sheppard who came off the bench for basically an entire season before going on to have a great year at the Rockets last year.
And I'm so impressed with these Arkansas freshmen. This has not been their best game by any means, but a lot of the freshmen across the country, we touched on this in the first half, because I believe they're going to challenge that deflection out of bounds. But the freshmen today are going up against an older version of college basketball that nobody has ever seen really before. You've got the grad transfers, you got 5th-year guys, you got the transfer portal, you got 20, all the other rulings. Seems like everybody's eligible no matter how old they want to be. And so as a scout, when you go look at these guys, you go, man, he's doing that against 22, 23, 24-year-olds. It's really impressive.
Calipari challenged the out-of-bounds call. Got a timeout to do so. And looked like it went off of Hall after Thomas touched it.
Yeah, I don't think the official saw it go off of Hall's chin here. It looks like, or hands.
How'd you do in anatomy class? Because last I checked, the chin is not on the arm.
From the other angle, I thought it hit the chin. I just need to lay out for the next 2.5 minutes. I got my Yo Mama joke in, and I'm probably going to have to issue an apology anyway by the end of this. So. The last thing I need to do is end my career with also a bad review challenge.
Here's DJ Wagner through traffic. Arkansas is going to have to regroup. I mean, they were playing with a lot of momentum. They had the 7-point win against Ole Miss. They're looking to go to 3-0 in the league for the first time since 97-98. And now Stephen Pearl says, well, I choose to challenge. If we want to stay here for a while, we'll stay here for a while.
You think Stephen challenges that if Calipari doesn't challenge the last one?
Not in the least.
I think it's like, all right, look, if we're going to challenge in 25-point games, then let's both do it.
The message Stephen Pearl gave his team today when they came out for film room was this is a game about respect. And is an Auburn program that had lost 2 close games in league play. And figuratively speaking, Auburn didn't throw the first punch tonight, but they landed. And then another, and then another. It feels like they as a program and a team, and Stephen Pearl as a coach, have earned great respect with the performance tonight.
Yeah, they absolutely have. Again, they played well with the lead. They didn't play the scoreboard or get complacent. And this is an Arkansas team that's been playing pretty well. So maybe some of it they were due a bad game, but I think a lot of it had to do with Auburn switching on the defensive end, eliminating transition, and really shrinking the court.
Three-ball good, and Auburn continues to pour it on as Keyshawn Murphy knocks down his second triple. Under 2 to play. Murphy's got a 16-point game going. Arkansas gets South Carolina at home midweek. And then the Razorbacks go on the road to Georgia, who came into this week leading the country in scoring. There are very few breathers in the SEC, but 14 teams for the tournament last year out of this conference. Probably about a 10-bid league right now as of January 10th, although that could change. But it feels like without a dominant team, with all respect to Vanderbilt, nothing to be taken for granted in this league.
No, there can. And you found this strength of schedule heading into conference play, that the top 16 remaining strength of schedules in the country were all 16 SEC teams.
Yeah.
And that shows you the quality opponent that you're going to see night in, night out, and why that's so important. It's an opportunity to improve your resume every single game. And if you lose one, it's probably not going to hurt you too bad either.
Stephen Pearl able to empty his bench.
And this is an Arkansas team that really only goes 8 deep. You'd like them to empty their bench too. Why are these stars playing? But they don't play a lot of guys. And right now, Calipari kind of treating this a little bit of like a practice. Like, hey guys, let's get some more reps. We know we're not coming back, but let's work on a few things.
Is that helpful if you're the team getting blown out?
I mean, I've been in these situations where I was getting blown out. I didn't necessarily want to come out of the game. I'll play as long as as a coach, you'll let me to. But there was a lot of those when I was playing for the Holland Seals. I'm not coming out, coach. I'm fighting to the finish. 30-point deficit.
Thomas wiggles his way in. They'll keep their scoring averages up for this freshman backcourt, but the rest of it inefficient. And then Thomas ties them up, stops the clock with 59 seconds left. Simon Walker, C.J. Williams. Blake Michalek has earned plenty of playing time tonight for Auburn.
I thought he gave him great minutes. And when he came in, when you come in as a backup point guard, the other team smells blood. They try to ball pressure, they try to trap you. He handled all those really well. He got some good offense going for his team.
Trap will enter as well for Auburn. Well, the SEC is the highest scoring league in college basketball. And we are on the verge of seeing another 100-point game. There have been 45 100-point games by SEC teams already this season. Auburn has under a minute to get there. Put back from Ewing. And Stephen Pearl says walk it up. They won't hit the century mark.
This wasn't the only reason, but Auburn's game plan to slow Arkansas down. Arkansas 7-0 on the season when there's 74 or more possessions, just 5-3 when it's less than that. Arkansas only has 66 in this game, so that's the tempo, the pace, the lack of possessions. And if they can score 95 on top of that, you see why this is such a huge margin in Auburn's favor.
Thomas with the feed and finish by Isaiah Seeley. The Springdale native gets his first bucket of the game. Auburn's going to find its first SEC win of the season, and the Razorbacks suffer their first loss of the season.
Well, in the film room for Auburn, they said this is an opportunity for us to get our program back on the map. Let's throw the first punch, but they threw the first, second, third, and final. Great team win by Auburn.
For Dane Bradshaw, I'm Tom Hart. So long from Auburn. Let's get you to Tuscaloosa, 150 miles away. It's